we often get asked a lot of questions about the racing oil and kind of where it came from and how it started and why on earth did we ever get into racing oil. And we've kind of told the story a couple times this week because PRI is in asking the same question. So just to let people know how this really started, it was never really intended. A few years ago, we were, as everyone knows, we're powered by science. We like to do a lot of testing, put our data out there. And we were at the time doing some testing on our FR3, our friction reducer. And we needed some dyno time. And we got introduced to FirePunk Diesel, who's, an hour from here? And they've got an in-house dyno. So, and to be frank, we didn't know FirePunk from anybody. Like, we really didn't know them. Like, and we were told that they're a really, really good transmission diesel shop that has a heck of a race team, and I haven't had a dyno. So we called them up and asked them to buy some dyno time to get some testing on our FR3 friction reducer. What had happened was we show up there and we told them they're expecting us that we wanted to kind of control the show and, run some private tests on our stuff. And we said, no, we wanted to turn it over to them. We gave them the FR3 and we said, no, we want you guys to test it on your trucks. You guys know your trucks inside and out. We want you to test this product and tell us what you think about it. So at the time, which is kind of funny now because we're obviously work so closely together and such good friends with the guys. At the time, it was really just they kind of were laughing at us. They were like, oh, here comes another one of those snake oil companies. But heck, if there's money's green and they want to throw it on our dyno, by all means, go at it. And Levi still tells a story about how I think we put his 06 on the dyno. And that thing, he's got so dialed in, he knew exactly, what it would make. And so we did a baseline of 4 or 5 poles, took an average horsepower of that, and then all we did was pour the FR3 in, let it idle, and then did another 4 or 5 poles. On that average, we averaged about a 3.5% horsepower gain that very first time. And he was stunned, like these are very, fully built, every single thing they could do to these things and to maximize their performance and to get another 3+% horsepower out of just an oil additive being poured in really kind of blew his mind. And so next thing you know, by the end of the day, they're all gathered around the dyno screen, pulling truck in after truck in. I think we did Larson's truck right after that and Landon's truck. And sure enough, each truck, we had a consistent 3 to 5% horsepower gain just by pouring an oil additive in. And so it quickly turned around from here come some guys that want to buy some dyno time to, holy crap, an oil additive can do this. And Levon's a smart enough guy to know that we're not, and I always like to say this, like we're not inventing that horsepower. This does not create horsepower. This allows the engine to meet and reach horsepower that normally is either lost in drag on the engine or inefficiencies or so forth. So right away, he knew that there was something special in this oil additive that allowed the friction to be reduced enough to free up more horsepower just by pouring it in. So that really started the beginning of the end for us. It really was what started the relationship with FirePunk, and they said, wow, you guys really have something here. They started using it right away. To this day, we still have FirePunk on our FR3 bottles as somebody who trusts and tested and endorses it. And that kind of, at the time, FirePunk was under a contract with another lubricant company as a sponsor. And
we'll name names.
We don't need to name names. And they were pouring our additives in that company's lubricants to improve the lubricant they were using. And FirePunk really challenged us. They said, heck, if you guys can make an additive this good, why don't you guys take a swing at making a racing oil? Well, we were already making Blue Diamond oil at the time. We did have some engine oils, but we didn't have any gear oil or transmission fluid or any racing oil. And but we took on the challenge. This is right when we started getting into diesel drag racing with the NHRDA.
True.
Outlaw Diesel Super Series.
Some of the UCC,
UCC, and nobody knew us at the time. I mean, it's a lot of the guys that knew us from the trucking side, on the over-the-road type of stuff knew us, but as far as the performance side, I remember those first years trying to give EDT away for free, and people were like, "I'm good, thanks." And it's like now we go out to events and sell our booth out every time. So it's really come a long way. But we do give a lot of credit to FirePunk for kind of pushing us to go that direction. So within a year, we had developed, which is our adrenaline racing oil. To fast forward to the end of the story, they then said, well, you've come this far, why don't you finish the lineup up? So within the following year, we had developed our adrenaline racing transmission fluids and gear oil. So now we have a full line, head to toe of racing fluids. What was really neat in the process was what we do here at Hot Shots and the way we formulate products doesn't really change. We've always been a problem-solving company. We use zero fillers. We use the best ingredients, for lack of a better term, that we can find, and we're always looking for new technology and new lubricant technology. So I think we took a different approach to building a racing oil than the average company would have. A lot of them look at it as they look at it as a money maker, something like an ad, which we don't make much money off this stuff. It's pretty expensive to make the formulas we make. But we took a lot of our knowledge from over the road stuff and kind of brought it in. So